What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to share with you the unique process that I use on lead vocals to get your vocals to sound like this.
Disappointments may come, but you gotta remember, when God says no and you want him to say yes, because all things will work together for the good.
The genre we're going to be working with today is gospel vocals. Most of you guys on this channel, you're either a gospel producer or you're a musician. So this is going to be very helpful for you. If you're not a gospel producer or a musician, this is still going to help you out as well. So let's get into it. These are the original vocals you just heard. This is from the recording session that Chris Bender, who is the singer, did. So this is what the vocals sound like with nothing going on, completely raw, just straight up vocals, right? So let's pick right here and play.
When God says no when you want him to say yes, because all things will work together for.
So the vocals sound really well. It sounds like the gain staging on them is pretty good as well. But the first thing that I would do after comping the vocals, and we know we already have a good vocal tape that we can use for the session, I'm going to add a VU meter to the vocals, and we're going to do a little bit of gain staging. So a simple way to understand gain staging is this. Whenever we run our vocals into the final vocal chain, whether we run it into tuning, compressor, EQ, you know, our typical vocal chain, we want to make sure that that vocal chain is receiving a optimal level in order to process the vocals in the proper way. So if the vocals are too low, then it's not going to hit that compressor where it needs to hit at. So we want to make sure the vocals are at the optimal level. So we want to make sure that we're hitting somewhere at about 3 on the VU meter. And typically you're going to go to the loudest point at the song and make sure it's hitting at 3 on the VU meter.
Understanding, yeah, when you're suffering.
So vocals are dynamic. You know, they're going up, they're going down. That's what a compressor is for. Again, it seems like these vocals are already gain staged pretty well. I could turn up the gain a little bit. You know, we could probably turn up the gain maybe 1 dB just to kind of set the stage a little bit.
With all of your heart and lean not to your own understanding, yeah.
And we're not trying to hit 3 perfectly. We just want to make sure we're in that ballpark figure of 3 on the VU meter.
When you're suffering.
If we go a little past it, it's fine. But these vocals are gain staged pretty good, so we can move on to the next step. After I have gain staged the vocals, the next thing I do is pull up Melodyne and I run the vocals through Melodyne. I think Melodyne does a great job of making the vocals sound nice and pitched correctly without making it sound robotic. So we'll run the vocals through Melodyne simply by pressing transfer and copying it into Melodyne. So I'll run the whole entire vocals through Melodyne until the end of the song. Then I'll go back through the Melodyne chart or the grid and I'll go through and fix the vocals that are wrong. So I'll listen to each note. Whatever note sticks out as wrong, if it's too sharp, I'm going to fix that note. There is a way that you can select everything on Melodyne and just automatically shift it to the next closest note. But I like to do everything manually to make sure that, you know, the pitches are correct. So these notes are slightly off right here. So if I double click it, it's going to put it where it's supposed to be at B flat. But you have to be careful with that. You have to still use your ear and not necessarily your eyes to make sure that it's where it's supposed to be at and it sounds right. Because just because it shows that it's at 0 and that the vocals are perfectly centered, that doesn't mean that that's always true based on how the singer sung the note.
He's gonna work it out, yeah.
So I'll probably do another video on Melodyne kind of showing you strategically how I use it, but that kind of gives you an overview of the first thing that we're doing. From there, we're going to bounce down the vocals into another track. So I'll just bounce it in place. The next thing I'm going to do, I like to add in another tuning effect over top of Melodyne. So we already have our vocals pitched and tuned correctly using Melodyne, but I like to either use like auto tune, and I'll put this over top of the vocals just to make it sound even more industry, if that makes sense. So I'll just turn up the retune just a little bit. I'll turn up the humanize a little bit, and we'll have that nice auto tune effect over top of the vocals so it sounds good. If I don't use auto tune, I use this new plugin that I got called Melodyne, and I'll put this over top of the vocals and I'll run it through here. Again, the goal is to make sure your vocals sound natural and not robotic. Then I would do one more final bounce. Of course, I'll listen to it, make sure everything sounds good. But once I run it through Melodyne or auto tune, I'll bounce down the vocals one final time. One thing that I forgot to mention, typically I will do this at the top of the process even before gain staging, and that's going through and cleaning the lead vocals. I forgot to mention that. But if you ever forget to do that process, you can do it after you do the tuning as well. So what do I mean by clean the vocals? Within lead vocals or even background vocals, there's always space within the audio file that is either the person breathing or maybe it's headphone bleed. You want to kind of clean those things up so that you can get the best lead vocal possible. Now, these things are subtle, but these things are very important in the big picture of things. If you don't do it, maybe your mixing engineer will do it, but you as the producer or as the arranger, you don't want to count on your mix engineer to clean your vocals. You want to do that for him so that all he has to do is focus on mixing and not editing. You probably can barely hear it, but you can hear just a little bit of headphone bleed in this signal right here. You can barely even see it on the grid as well, but it's there. I hear it. So what I would do, I would cut right here, and I'll catch that next breath right there. So we would cut this out.
He knows.
Keep all that breath work right there because we want our vocals to sound natural. And then there's something in the background of the studio that you can hear right here. Well, that's the headphone bleed. So we'll cut out this space right here. And then we'll catch the breath.
About the things.
And we'll do this for the whole entire track. This is what we call cleaning the vocals, right? So once I'm done cleaning those vocals, the next thing I'm going to do is join the track together. And we'll have a unified file without all of the breathing and without all of the background noise from the headphones. So from there, the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up one of my vocal presets. And this is the vocal preset I believe that you heard in the beginning of the video. This vocal preset is only available for Logic Pro, but this vocal preset changes everything. I even used this vocal preset when I was mixing my new song that just came out, For the Good, the song that you're actually hearing. So this is what it sounds like without it.
With all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding.
So now we're going to add in that Grammy gospel vocal, and this is what it sounds like.
With all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Listen, when you're suffering, just remember.
Makes the vocals expand, gives it a lot of space. The EQs are really good on it as well. This vocal preset changes everything, and it makes things very easy when you're trying to mix. Now, this is what the vocal chain sounds like in the actual session that I mixed for this record. Again, I'm going to do a mix breakdown of this whole entire session next week after the song drops. The song drops this Friday, so go check it out. But this is what the vocal chain sounds like.
Oh, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Listen, when you're suffering, just remember.
There are 10 vocal presets in that Gospel Vox pack that we just went over, but that kind of gives you a better idea of how to prepare vocals for a song that you're working on. Try this out in your session. So the first thing we're going to do is gain stage those vocals. We want to make sure that your vocals are hitting a optimal level in order to go into the effects chain that you use. The next thing you're probably going to want to do is run it through Melodyne, or you can clean the vocals first. Matter of fact, clean your vocals first, go through, make sure everything is crispy. Then after that, run it through Melodyne. Then after that, I typically will add in another auto-tune plugin over top of Melodyne after we have bounced it out, just to kind of give it more of a professional sound. Then we add in those presets on top after, and you can kind of tweak the compression, change the EQ a little bit as well. But that's the technique that I use in terms of mixing vocals and making my vocals sound really, really good. I hope this video helps you out. If it did, drop a comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. That's all we got for today. We are out.